Hi, I'm Anthony Koth. I graduated just last year with my PhD. My focus was on semantics and cognitive linguistics broadly, and I looked at the 2016 election, which was a nightmare. um, and then after I finished, I started having to figure out, okay, I need this job thing. I kind of knew early on that academia was not going to be where I wanted to be and then I wound up talking to a friend who's at Adobe, who works in like UX, knowledge management, and design. He gave me some keywords and terms, and then from there, I forget how I stumbled on taxonomy as a term. I had not thought about that at all as something that is actively done. So I really like working at Indeed because we help people get jobs. That's our tagline. And it's just basically discourse analysis of job ads and resumes and figuring out ways to organize all of these data points into useful packages that the engineers then take our information and the buckets and bins we put the job ads into, and then they can help search algorithm and tuning so that if someone goes to the website and searches for something like project manager, which is even for us a notoriously difficult term, where we've been able to put it in our taxonomies, for example, it can maybe get closer to the industry that a person is trying to get into. And then we've got some other teams using our data in various ways to help match job seekers to employers, also to help with resume tuning, I believe. And there's other ways that our products from taxonomy are helping other departments give value to both the employers and the future employees to help make that connection between the two more likely to happen quicker on both sides. For you, I didn't know prior to getting this job that this was a thing. Other terms that it might come under are like information architecture, knowledge management, knowledge curation. Most of the people in my department, and broadly when I look at these ads, they're generally looking for people with library sciences degrees, because the idea is you're organizing information, right? So you're building a system, a classification system, and then you're figuring out ways to make sure all and only the things that are in this bin are in this bin, bin 2, bin 3, bin 4. And then depending on the complexity, so we have a few different taxonomies that we use at Indeed, with different types of data and with varying degrees of precision and recall to make sure we get enough in each and that it's good data so that the engineers can take it from there. Content management is also another term. So a lot of your marketing firms or your uh, uh, media companies. I actually, when I learned about taxonomy as a thing, I started stringing together some keywords like knowledge management or content management, etc. There was a job at the, I believe, New York Post or New York Times where they were looking for someone full-time to be a content manager. So what taxonomy, at least in the tech side, does is you get your pieces of data and then you append metadata to it. So a tag that tells you, okay, this is specifically a sales job, or this is specifically a sports piece, or this is specifically a political piece. Is it political opinion, political fact, political future planning? What aspect under that political? Is it economics? Is it health policy? So you can see why librarians tend to have that skill set coming in to many of these kind of jobs, or why it kind of came out of that. I do believe there are a lot of positions, not just at big companies. Two of the companies that reached out to me this week, I think, were much smaller. I'd never heard of one, and one was more of an advertising marketing agency. And what taxonomists do is they get the data from everyone, and then they create a unified vocabulary, right? So if you've done any kind of linguistic analysis, you have your analog data set, and you're having to figure out how to parse it and then code it so that you can then refer back to it and count it or make statements over patterns, right? We're the pattern masters. So this is why we can take data, which is just everything that's being done on the internet or most of these computer companies, and we just have naturally learned, or I think we have a proclivity for it. That's why we become linguists. But then we also learn all the tools to break things down into pieces and figure out, okay, does this type of definition scheme work? No, okay, tweak it a little bit. Okay, this definition scheme seems to be better. And as Alex, I think, commented before the webinar, we have the power as taxonomists and as linguists. Like the taxonomists are the ones kind of driving and defining things. Now, yes, sometimes we like to think we have it right, and actually we're having a few issues where we have our idea of how it should be in taxonomy and Indeed, and sometimes it is coming up against the mental models. We've used that term, the mental models of the job seeker or the employer, where they're seeing our categories and they're like, we don't think we're that. We don't think we're that. What? Or we just don't even understand what's going on here. So that's where Alex also mentioned ethnography. Another term for that is user experience or user interface. So that's a job where my friend at Adobe does user experience design. We actually have a department who they run focus panels, like brief little diary studies, ethnographies with job seekers and with employers, trying to see how our products are or aren't matching up with expectations so that we can then improve our product. So I